Assassin's Creed 3, I don't think I actually need to say anything apart from naval battles. Yeah, that was a pretty kick-ass demo. Guys, can you give us a sort of just general overview about what we've seen here?
So what we just saw is one of the, towards the climax of the naval experience, and it's one of the big battles we have. So that wasn't actually the whole mission we saw, it was just a section of the mission that we're choosing to show today. And we started off on the open sea, taking out many enemy ships, fighting alongside allies. Once that wave of enemies was taken out, we had to go find the beast of a man of war, and it had the better of us in the fog and took out our cannons. So Connor had to ram them and then board the ship and take out the officer on board.
Now, we first saw the idea of the naval battles at E3, but you guys are actually showing the gameplay here. How does it work? I mean, you've got full control over your ship, correct?
Yep, so it's very much a case of reinforcing the key pillars of the franchise. We have a new method of navigation, so you control whether your sails are up and down and you're at the wheel, so you're moving left and right with your ship. And then you're also controlling your men, and they control the cannon, so you tell them when to shoot and how to shoot. So it's a new type of combat and navigation.
And as usual with Assassin's Creed, there's a bit of upgrade stuff going on as well, correct?
Yes, so you start off with just the round shot and the chain shot. That's your ammo types, but you can upgrade your hull to have more ship HP, basically, your ramming bow, which allows you to do more damage when ramming enemy ships. You also get two new ammo types, the grape shot, which is like a shotgun almost, and also the heat shot, which is the most powerful one.
Can you talk us through about the damage system in place? So if you're getting constantly battered, will your ship just gradually disintegrate, or is there specific areas that will fall apart?
Well, you will lose cannons, so you have a number of cannons on deck each side, and if you start taking too many hits on either side, then you'll find that side you'll lose officers, the crew, and you'll lose your cannon, so you'll only be able to shoot from one side, really. That happens, and otherwise you can lose a bit of maneuverability if they take out your rudder, and more importantly, when you're taking out the enemy ships, it's also tactical what part you shoot. So if you shoot the front of their ship, you can reveal the weak spot, which allows a quick kill, really. And in the middle, if you take out their cannons, they become far less accurate in shooting their shots. And you can also take out their rudder, which means they lose control a bit. And
you said about mentioning by taking out their sails as well. Was that correct? With some of the
sails, yes. The chain shot, you can shoot and demast the enemies, which incapacitates them and their sitting ducks.
And we saw as well, you're ramming the Templar ship to finish off the demo, board it, and just generally kill all around you. But you can do that pretty much with any ship out there.
You can ram any ship you want, yeah, that's it.
Now, this fine man was telling us all about the actual sea itself, because that's another enemy of a sort when you're on the high seas. How does that work with the game?
Yeah, it's a completely dynamic simulation. It's based on the Beaufort scale, which is a 1 to 12 point scale of like the intensity of the ocean, essentially. It measures the speed of the wind generally, but the higher the Beaufort, the more intense your seas are as well. So that can play into the tactics of how you have to play. For example, if the ocean scales up and it becomes like this huge raging inferno, you'll have essentially these mountains of water in between you and your enemies, and you'll have to time your shots so that as you come over the crest, you're able to shoot them, and you can similarly sort of like dive in behind the waves and take a little bit of cover there. So it becomes a really tactical playground for you to mess around with.
Now, with each naval battle, will there be a specific weather setting, so to speak, for that, or is it a bit more dynamic?
Some of them we choose the weather settings and we say, okay, here we need it to be foggy because this is going to be the most dramatic impact, or this is how it actually happened. But some of the engagements will have a completely dynamic simulation, so it'll just change on the fly as you're playing.
Now, how does the naval battles factor into the game as a whole? You mentioned there earlier on that it's sort of towards the climax of the game, sort of like the last third, these really come into play. Can you give us a bit more scope, a bit more detail on how this all comes about?
Sure. So we have a couple of missions that are on the mainline path, and that covers how Connor gets the Aquila itself and a couple of other key historical moments. But then we have a few hours of side content that you can engage in when you want. Once you acquire the boat, you have a bunch of different options and times where you can go out to sea and just play the various different missions that are on offer. But yeah, it adds up to a huge amount of content for us that I think people are going to be really excited to play.
How much fun was this to design? Come on, seriously. You guys look like you're having a ball playing that.
Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure working on Assassin's Creed 3 and bringing a new fantasy to the franchise in the naval battles. Yeah.
Cool. Personally, I'm really proud of the guys in Singapore. They've been knocking this out of the park. We set them on a really ambitious mission to try and do something completely new for the franchise, something that would, be incredibly risky for us. We didn't know if it was going to work. We didn't know what was going to come out of it. But in the end, what we see now, I think everybody is blown away. We're having a lot of fun playing it, and I'm just incredibly happy to be bringing this to you.
Guys, I think that's all the time. Well, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.
Cool. Thanks for having us.